Welcome to another week of Experience Andy Wines Live. And today we're going to be jumping into I want and the powerful sentiment that two words expresses and how it can really determine your destiny by letting other people know your vision of the future that you want someday. First and foremost, always though, we will start with a moment of gratitude. This week, I want to thank my girlfriend's parents, Sue and Jim Deal. Sue and I started dating my girlfriend a couple months ago. I met her parents very early in our relationship. It was very important for both of us that we met each other's parents and our families are involved. And over the weekend, I stopped by their house with my daughter without Jenna, my girlfriend, there. And we had a great visit. We spent about 3 hours. They are grandparents as far to their grandkids to the upteenth, spoiling them, giving my daughter donuts and going out and spending time with the cats and hanging out in the yard. And they live out on a farm. And so it was all things that I remembered growing up as a kid visiting my grandparents that my daughter now gets to experience. And I thought this through. In my book, I read about the word miss. So for the last 20 years, I've always gotten the word miss out of my vernaculars because miss focuses on the past. It focuses on this victimhood of what you had that you lost. And when I read about in my book, I talk about, think about the things that you yearn for. Right? You might say, now I miss. Now, what do you yearn for? And where do you get more of that? I grew up with grandparents. They were my world. My grandmother, the most important person to me. I have a tattoo of a cardinal on my chest in dedication to her, so I consistently remind myself of the love that she shared. And the goal is, how do I find that in today's world? How do I become that love, or how do I find that love? And in that moment, I reflect back on the weekend. My daughter got to experience what it's like to go on the farm and hang out with the cats and hang out with a set of grandparents. Now, my mom and dad have been great to my daughter, and they fill her with love, and we have our experiences. And now she has another set of grandparents to love on her. And for me, it was great to sit and visit. I remember as an adult going to my grandparents' house on Saturday or Sunday afternoons with no agenda, merely to come there, break bread, and visit. And that was something we always talked about, that word visit. We're going to visit for a while. And I realized I've lost that with my grandparents. Very infrequent do I go somewhere to sit and chat with somebody. And we sat for 3 hours and got to know each other. We talked about everything from religion to politics and everything in between and what matters to us. And we got to know each other as adults. So I really cherish those moments, and I really appreciate that time and the time they gave to me and the time they gave to my daughter. And so the key there is to think about things you're yearning for in this world and either create those opportunities yourself or seek out that love in somebody else. All right, let's pay the bills. Speaking, keynote speaking, that's what I love doing. I love being on stages. So, for those of you that have companies or organizations that are looking for an infusion of courage, I've gotten away from the word empower, and now I'm really onto the word encourage. Because when I reach out to people, when I have conversations, it's not a motivation and it's not power. It's courage, is what people leave with. So I encourage them to find that within themselves to become the person they want to become. And so that's what I realized about myself this last week. No longer about empowerment, it's about encouragement so that they can find the courage. 80% of Americans live somewhere between anger and fear. Only 20% of people live a life of courage. And so that's what I do in my practice. I take people from a fear based mindset, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of success. I encourage them to find it within themselves to take the leap, take the step, write down the goal, start to live out the dream they want. And that transitions very smoothly into what we're talking about today. I want. In the book, The Four Agreements is a great book. It talks about the domestication of man and how your preachers and teachers and parents over time put all this on you and domesticate you. So therefore you're following in what their footsteps are. In reality, you were born perfect the day you were born. And over time, eventually you start to shed all these ideals other people put on you. Thought about this. When you ask a kid a question, they'll always let you know what they want. I want to go to the playground. I want to eat my candy. I don't want to go to bed. They'll let you know very clear and obvious what they want. And then they get domesticated. And people say, well, no. There was a study done years ago where a lot of parents say no 20 times for every one yes, because kids are habitually asking for what they want. And then we become adults and we forget to ask for what we want. We forget to ask the world. We forget to ask ourselves, what do I want? We focus on the can't, the won't, the don't. 3 words that do not serve us. We focus on these limiting self-beliefs because someone said we can't have what we want. And I've said it for years. I only do what I want. For years, I said I do what I want. And that was me puffing my chest up. And now I say I only do what I want. In the book 10x is easier than 2x, Dan Sullivan talks about why your wants are greater than your needs. When you focus on your wants, your needs seem to dissipate because you've already covered that base. And now you're going after that next level of achievement. How do you succeed beyond the basics? And it's all about that growth mindset, going after that next thing, the thing that you want. And so people will say things like, oh, I don't want to be late, or I can't do this, or I won't do that. And it's, what do you want? Ultimately, what is it your end state you desire? Because people get flustered up with the day to day and not what they actually desire. I had a conversation recently with a family member that brought something forward that he didn't like that I said. I said a few things. He didn't care for those things. And he said, hey, I didn't like those things. They made me feel some sort of way, and I didn't appreciate that. I said, okay, what do you want me to say moving forward? Didn't have an answer. And so we went around in a circle, and I asked the same question. What do you want me to do? Went around in a circle. What do you want me to say? Went around in a circle. What do you want me to do? Went around in a circle. It took 6 or 7 iterations of that before we finally got to what he actually truly wanted. Because he was apprehensive. He said what he didn't want me to do. Or, well, I like this, but I don't like that. Okay. And eventually, when I continually asked the question, what do you want? We got to the want. Because we focus on that end state. We can all start at the beginning state of, hey, you said this or you did this. I didn't like that. Okay, there's where we started. This is the kill zone. Let's get out of the kill zone. Okay, now we're out of the kill zone. Instead of just being anywhere, right? 360 degrees gets you out of the kill zone. In the military, that serves you. Well, now that we're out of the kill zone, we can take a second, we can breathe, we can look around. What is it you want? Where are we going? Because what you're doing is running away from what you don't like. You're never going to be running to what you do like, what you do want, what you do desire. Focus on the I want. And this is different language, though, than I can't or I won't. I dated a woman for a long time, and she said, I don't want to be late. Okay, we're going to a thing. I don't want to be late. Okay, what does that look like? Well, I don't want to be rushed. Okay, you don't want to be late. You don't want to be rushed. What do you want? Right? Tell me, what time do you want to show up? What time do you want to start getting ready? How long do you want to get ready for? What do you want to bring in the car? And now all of a sudden you start painting a picture of optimism and hope and what you want versus what you don't want. The challenge is most adults can tell you what they don't like and they don't want. And yet when you ask them to be vulnerable and say, what is it you want? The narrative really starts changing. You can say, hey, I don't want to be late. Okay, what do you want? And this goes to my girlfriend, Jenna, and I. We went out this last weekend. And I said, hey, this is the time we're going out. And I said, okay, this is the time we're going out. She goes, I want 15 minutes to get ready. Okay, we can do that. 15 minutes. Very clear and concise. It's a SMART goal. Singular, measurable, obtainable, relevant, time-bound. Hits all 5 things. I want 15 minutes to get ready. From the time I get off before we leave, 15 minutes. Okay. So now the target of being on time is insignificant. It's about what you want. Because of the chance she gets off of work late, and then she has less than 15 minutes, she can get off work early and she has more than 15 minutes available. It doesn't matter. The 15 minutes was the key. So now being in the next place on time is less significant. Saying, I don't want to be rushed. What is rush to you? Rush to me is 10 minutes. Some other people, it's an hour. What is it you want? I want this amount of time to get ready. I want this in my career. I want this promotion. I want these vacations. I want to make this salary. And how can we do that? When you start communicating like that, then people can actually hit the target. A lot of people in this world get off to giving. Simon Sinek talks about it. You want to be happy in this world? Give without expectation of anything in return. When you give of yourself, you feel good more than not, and the other person receiving it feels good. The key now is tell people what you want. And when you give them a very small target, Jordan Peterson talks about this, the smaller the target you give people, the more likely they are to hit the target and both people are happy. Last week, Sunday, I went to church, Catholic Mass. First time I've gone to church in years. And I was talking to Jenna afterwards. I went with her. I met with her parents, and we went to church together. And I talked to her afterwards, and I was talking about a relationship and alignment and our vivid vision. What do we want out of our lives, and where are we going? And she said she was very appreciative that I went to church with her. And I said, well, you asked me to. She goes, no, I didn't. I go, what do you mean, no, you didn't? She goes, no, I never told you I wanted you to go. I never asked you to go. I never told you to go. She said, I told you I want to go to church on Sunday. And I remember it was like Thursday night. She said that verbatim. I want to go to church on Sunday. And I was on my way to take a shower. And I took a shower and I came back and I go, okay, we're going to church on Sunday. She never even asked me. She didn't tell me. She merely said what she wanted. And now I want to spend time with her. And now our two wants align because we were vulnerable in the moment. Neither one of us had expectations for each other. Neither one of us owed each other an answer. Neither one of us demanded one from the other. It was a simple explanation, explanation, if you will, right, of somebody's want. And then how can I achieve that? Same token, it was my birthday this last week. I said, I want to spend time with my family. That's important to me. And my family's going bowling for a birthday. That's important. It's important to me that you're there, your son's there, my daughter's there, and we show up as a family, right? We have a blended family. That's important to me. She made it happen. I didn't ask her to do anything. I didn't tell her what she had to do. I merely expressed to her what I wanted. The nice thing about wanting is you're inviting people in your world. You're not projecting onto them and imposing onto them by telling them what to do. You're not asking them to be vulnerable by asking them a question. You're leading with vulnerability by saying, this is what I want. We go back to those 6 most important sentences, starts of sentences. I am, I can, I feel, I know. Then we get to I want. Based on those 4 things, I know this to be true. This is what I want. And now you express something very small, very tight, very simple to hit. And then it turns into I will go to church. Jenna will make arrangements to have her son so we can go to a birthday party together. And it began with the I want. The inverse of this is people that dance. I got a phone call yesterday. One of our vendors, or not our vendor, but a person that wants to be a vendor for us. He wants to call on me for my insurance. He wants to sell me a product. He never told me that. He asked me, hey, is your business partner running the day-to-day? I said, yes. He said, is your business partner able to fire and hire vendors? I said, he is. He said, is your business partner hiring and firing and actually making decisions? I said, he is. He goes, what are you guys doing with your insurance? I said, you'd have to talk to my business partner. He's in charge of that. He asked every question there was, 10 different questions, used up a bunch of my time and inventory for the day. And instead of saying, hey, I want to be an insurance broker for the year, what does it take to make that happen? We would have got right to it. And then I could have said, hey, this is the process steps to do that. They never said that. I'm assuming, I think he knows what he wants. I thought he was calling me because it was my birthday. That was his initial, hey, Andy, happy birthday. Oh, by the way, let me talk shit about your business partner. He was leading with his vulnerabilities, his insecurities, his victim mindset, instead of being the victor and being proud and asking and merely stating, what does he want? By doing that, you make it a very clear and concise conversation for the person you're talking to. My challenge for you this week, take the time to reflect so you know that I am, I can, I feel, I know. Get to that point. In the real time, let people know what you want. Start by telling yourself, this is what I want. When you make that boundary, you will start to see very clearly what actions and activities, what people serve your want. Last story, earlier today, I was having a conversation with our marketing person. She's new to our company. And she was talking about, well, is this good or bad? Where she was talking about a situation. I said, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. She was talking about the way that I operate, very clear, very direct. Is it good or bad? I said, it's not a question of good or bad. That's subjective. What matters, is it consistent with what I want? Does it serve me? In my book, it says, retrain your brain to use language that serves you. When you know what you want, when you have a desired end state, everything you look at from that point forward is tested against that. When looking at the OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act. We're living in the orient phase. We've observed the world around us. We orient to ourselves. Here's the opportunity. Is this consistent with what I want? and the decision becomes very obvious. And then we act accordingly. I threw a lot at you guys today. A lot of speakers and authors, a lot of methodologies that I use in my world. And it comes very simply down to, what is it you want? Why do you want it? What is it going to take for you to get there? And who's going to be along with you on that journey? So my challenge to you this week is simple. Get to that point where you can write down what you want. There's a great exercise in 10X that is easier than 2X, Dan Sullivan talks about, where you write down all the things you want, and you boil them down to the things you really want. I do it at my keynote speeches. Write it down. Write down 50 things you want and boil down those things that you really want. Those things are going to move mountains. And once you get to that point, communicate them effectively to the people around you. Give the people the opportunity, the people around you, the opportunity to feel great about themselves by giving to you without any expectation in return. When you create that environment, the community will show up. The village will be there for you. People will be beating down your door to serve you and your desires because they want something and someone to follow. They want to contribute to a cause. Be that person they rally behind. As always, do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world. Show the fuck up. Go after what you want. We'll see you next week.